Hello and welcome to the Insane Gorillas podcast, where we talk about a different film each week. Today we are going over Maniac Cop 2, which is our franchise of this month, and the first week of June. We're going to be kind of talking about specific details of the movie, about the movie itself, our thoughts and feelings on it. Um, this will also be on YouTube. If you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and say hi in the comments and tell us what you think of the movie. If you've seen it already, if you haven't, it's on Shudder. The whole series is on Shudder. We definitely recommend you watch it. There's some pretty fun movies. Um, so, big spoiler alert too. Try to watch the movie before you watch this. Just hit
Right.
pause, go watch it, come back. It, it's worth a watch. So
Matt's not trying to say that some of you don't got the wherewithal or the common sense to watch a movie, right? Before you watch a review on it, because then you're gonna be like, oh, it got spoiled. But there is some people out there that are like that. So please go watch the movie before you
yeah,
watch this.
we we tend to spoil stuff if you haven't seen it. So
Yes.
um, let's get into it then. So I had some major thoughts. I think that this film, Maniac Cop 2, compared to Maniac Cop 1, it was
Mm-hmm.
more. It had the darker tone of like a horror movie and felt more like a horror movie, while the
Mm-hmm.
first one felt like an 80s action flick with
Yeah.
like hints of horror. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't. What are your thoughts on it? I sort of like the darker tone.
Man. Right. Yeah. I also enjoy it. Um, I will say what gave me like what threw me off immediately was the I'm like, okay, how are they going to continue from the first one? Because in the first one, that ending where Maniac Cop is like, in the truck and he drives off, and he's got the freeze frame. You're like, okay, well, he's going to come back. There's going to be a second one, right? Um, uh, they thought that Bruce Campbell, Bruce Campbell's like character, they thought that he was the Maniac Cop, right? And the only guy who actually saw the Maniac Cop was that one cop who died, right?
Yeah,
So what I'm trying to figure out is, why they let Bruce Campbell go in the second one, right? Do you get what I'm saying? I know he called for units on
yeah,
dispatch, right? But he never said like, oh, hey, there's another guy here who's Maniac Cop, right? I mean,
yeah.
I can understand because they like
Well,
the police truck got stolen by Maniac Cop, right? In the first one, right? That happened.
yeah.
Did he kill that guy?
He
That the
so
driver?
Maniac Cop shoots one police officer and then gets chased down by Bruce Campbell. But the only person I actually think sees Maniac Cop is
Mm-hmm.
the guy that gets shot and with a shotgun and dies
Yeah, right.
right at
That's
that
what I was
point.
saying.
But
Mm-hmm.
so they let Bruce Campbell go for some reason. I guess the
The
people who
ambiguity.
knew Matt Cornell. Well, also they had some police officers still alive in that police station, so
I
they
mean,
had some
yeah.
witnesses there, I guess. But they
Did
still
they?
thought Bruce
Well,
Campbell was the bad guy.
yeah. So I was saying, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Maniac Cop like pulled the driver out of that police van with Bruce Campbell in the back, and I don't think that guy died. So
That's
if we
that's
if we
their one witness. Their one
right,
wit-
that is the one witness,
one witness that
right?
they can
That
actually trust. Um,
Yeah, so I'm sure that's what it is. So I'm making a false claim here. I thought that they're just. I mean, it's still pretty loose because there's only one witness, right? But I mean, I don't know. Anyways, getting on with the movie. I do like the darker tone aesthetic to it. I appreciate them trying to go off from the past story of they're trying to continue it, they're trying to make it flow easy, right? They're trying to make the pacing good, but uh I am I'm kind of a fan of when people reuse footage from older movies, right?
mhm.
Right, like oh shoot, let's see, I think Halloween did it. um where they have a new movie and there seems to be like, oh, like, okay, this is what happened last time, and obviously we got that at the beginning, which I'm okay with. I guess that's just the time that it was back then, right?
Yeah.
Like most 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 of those movies, or most of those movies that came out, they're like, okay, just in case if people didn't see what happened, here it is again. Here's just a quick little review. um I did not enjoy the fucking shower scene with
The
fucking Maniac
repeat.
Cop. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did not appreciate that. That was Matt. We talked about this off camera, but I'm telling you right now, that's the big thing I was complaining about.
Was
So
yeah.
yeah,
The one problem I have with repeating footage from the first one is that the tone in this one is so different. So you can
yep,
tell. Well, they were filmed about 3 years apart.
right,
So they're reusing footage from like 1987, 1988 in a 1990 movie, which has
yeah,
a drastically different tone and it's a lot darker. But you keep cutting back to
mm,
this more grainy film, and it's just it doesn't feel like it fits.
right,
But uh, it's to remind people basically. But the thing is, you also don't learn anything new about Maniac Cop. Really, they're just recapping everything. You know that it's Matt Cornell, it's or Cordell.
right,
It's the same guy, but I think you can kind of. I do have some theories about Maniac Cop and what he is, because I think he's a zombie, and I have reason to believe this. So in the first movie, you see he looks like he's straight out of jail. He's dead, or I think he's dead. We don't know. He just suddenly comes back to life, but he's got scars all over his face. In this one, either the makeup artist like went ham with like layering that makeup on him, or there's a reason for all that makeup to change because he's got gray skin in this. He's got his stitches are all ripped up. It just looks a lot different from the original one. So I think he might be a zombie. I think you know it, but also that would kind of explain his super strength and kind of like
right,
why how he survives all these things, but yet he's still damaged from them. So like if he gets shot, that bullet wound's still on him. But what else? At the beginning of the movie, it starts out with I think it starts out with a recap, and then you get like a credits scene where it's like playing music and then doing that, and it
yeah.
opens up
Oh,
on
jeez.
that gas station
Yeah,
scene.
yeah,
I have some problems with it. Like when that
yeah,
shotgun blast, none of those bullets touch him. Yet they all go around
yeah.
him. Like
Mm,
I at least expect like him to get shot a little bit from that shotgun, but no, all of
yeah.
it just goes right around
Right.
him.
No, I also thought you were gonna say about the opening like credit scenes or whatever. That thing was, oh my gosh. So the first Maniac Cop was an hour and 25 minutes, and this one was an hour and 30 minutes. And honestly, in that opening credit scene where it was just going and we were seeing all those names and stuff, I was in there. I'm like, holy shit! They spent like 5 extra minutes like on the opening credit scene. I was sitting there, I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, let me break out a pocket watch here and let me time this. What the fuck?
Well, at least they used it for that instead of like having like 5 minutes of just the opener. Like, okay, this is this studio and this studio and this studio and
Right.
20th
Yeah,
Century Fox.
right.
Instead of
Yeah,
doing it
I
then,
guess
but
that's
instead
fair.
having some music and like having like a background to show it. I like that more. It seems a lot more professional, I guess.
Mm,
But I just I don't like the repeat of the footage from the original one because it's just such a different tone. It's so much darker,
yeah.
and you can tell like the first scene, it's a lot darker than the original one.
Mm,
It's because it's in a dark gas station. Plus, also this one has almost sort of like a Silence of the Lambs feel to it because it's
mm,
serial killer with serial killer. The team up,
mm.
which I actually do like that team up. You kind of learn about
Yeah.
Maniac Cop and what his motives are and stuff, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I remember watching this and seeing Bruce Campbell again. I was sitting there, I'm like, yeah, this guy's gonna die. Bruce Campbell's got some other shit to work on. They're gonna, and then just fucking gets him through the back, and I was just like, yeah, I saw this one coming.
I
I was like,
that
hmm.
his death is the best I think out of this movie. It's just
Oh, Bruce Campbell's,
yeah,
yeah,
it's the reason why it surprised me was because it was such a major actor to have on this movie.
right,
So I was
yeah,
like, oh, he's got to live at least till the end, or he's got to live through
right,
this trilogy. But then I think, Bruce Campbell wouldn't do this. Why would he
right,
do this
right.
movie? So you could kind of expect that to happen. But I was just caught by surprise because I was expecting him to last the entire movie. Because also I
Right.
looked up the Maniac Cop 2 credits on Google, and his name is the first one after, of course, the Matt Cornell Maniac Cop character. His is the
Yeah,
second one on that list, and I
yeah.
was expecting him. Oh, he's gonna live throughout this movie. He's gonna live. Uh, nah, nah.
No, I was sitting there. Like we were watching it down in Florida, and I was sitting there, and we saw Bruce Campbell's character, and I was sitting there. I'm like, uh, usually when you like learn about an actor, you learn about the like the series that they did, like good
Mm.
and bad. You don't really hear about their one-off movies that they had, right? So I was sitting there, and I'm just like, I bet this was just a fucking one-off thing, and then he like dies here the second one, and lo and behold, he died. I was like, oh man.
Well,
I'm like, understandable. Bruce Campbell's got some other nice major works that he's got to go to, but
probably another Evil Dead movie,
right, yeah,
which is
exactly,
what he's known for. It's a
right.
much better series, but um, what is it? Um, one of the best I think scenes in this movie for me. I don't know if you'll agree with it, but that car
Mm.
scene where Maniac Cop straps like puts the handcuffs on. I think it's uh, Officer Susan is her name,
Oh
onto the
yeah,
steering wheel in that stunt where she's hanging out of the car as they're
yeah.
going down the street. I really
Oh
like that. I was
god,
like, that's a big budget stunt for this movie that doesn't have
right.
that large of a budget.
Yeah, I was sitting there, and I actually had forgotten about that, and I was like handcuff. I'm like, is he referring to the first one? And then I'm like, oh wait, no, what fucking she is hanging out by the fucking side, just fucking like running with her, getting dragged. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, that was a good one.
It
That was a
also
really good stunt.
it also seems like it's a super dangerous stunt at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, back then, this is what they had to do, man. They no fucking no digital
CG.
yeah, no digital CGI.
Yeah, but
They're like, all right, you're gonna be running beside this car going down a fucking hill. It's gonna be fucking insane. You might die, but you're a stunt man,
it's
so or
worth
a
it.
stunt woman, right?
It's for the
It's
film,
gonna look fucking sick at the end of this film.
and
It's
it
gonna be
did.
fucking great.
It's
Yeah.
probably one of the best stunts. It's much better. The thing about the first movie was that it had so many car chases. This
Mm.
one, I think the closest it gets to really a car chase is the car chase in the middle where they kind of get chased by Maniac Cop in the car after pulling
Mm,
over,
mm.
and
Yeah.
then that happens. But
Yeah.
it's also filmed instead of like an action movie like the first one with cars flipping over and stuff. This one adds a lot more suspense and tension with the music,
Yeah.
which makes it feel more like a horror movie. Uh, while
Mm.
the first one had like really exciting and triumphant music, this one had a dark and more suspenseful score. I think it makes it feel a lot more like a horror movie
Yeah.
because it's
For
categorized as
sure.
a horror movie. So,
Right.
uh,
But yeah, that no, it's so funny to see like all these new movies today and all action like, movies and stuff, and most of it's practical effects, and right, and some of it's like CGI, and then there's also that really nice mix sometimes, not all the time, of CGI and practical effects, which just awesome. But seeing that's done, I gotta say I've never seen something like that before. That is very memorable.
I do want to know what the stunt performer thought like immediately when she looked at the
Right,
she
get it
looks at
behind
the
the scenes.
script and like I gotta hang out of a car.
You
The
gotta
car's
hang
gonna
out
get
of a
hit on both
car.
sides.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Yeah,
But
no, that's awesome that they were actually able to pull that off.
yeah, I know if I was making the movie, I would not want to do that because I feel like there's so many things that could go wrong. But also that's why
Right.
they have like all these emergency people on the side behind the
Sides,
scenes
yeah.
just ready to help when necessary. What is it? So another thing I really wanted to talk about, which we kind of learned more about, is what is Maniac Cop's motive? Why does
Mm,
he he's not killing the corrupt really. He's also killing innocent people at the same time.
yeah.
So he kind of spares that the female officer from the beginning for like a little bit while like
Hmm.
he kind of throws her off and then she gets the chainsaw and comes in. But
Yeah.
then he ends up killing her anyways. Uh,
Hmm.
but it I the only thing that I can kind of think of for his motive is that he thinks he's doing right while doing
Hmm.
wrong, which is why he gets along with the serial killer who thinks he's
Hmm.
helping these the strippers and stuff because he's killing them and getting them off the street. But again, he thinks he's doing right by them. It's just he doesn't have a clear motive and like a reason for killing.
Yeah, yeah, completely right.
What? Why
But
do you think he?
for me, you know, his motive. At first, I was sitting there, I'm just like, maybe, you know, he came back, something's wrong. He's got an imbalance in his head, and he thinks he's taking care of scum, right, like criminals and stuff. And I was sitting there, I'm like, but when you hear that story of the justice system, you know, it was explained a little bit, I think, in the first one, or I mean, you know, it's you it leaves it to the imagination. um you you get a little bit more of it in the third one too, but you know, it you know, the you know, the justice system for Maniac Cop, I you know, from his perspective, failed him. You know, obviously, trigger finger cops should be taken care of, right? Because, you know, that's insane, right? You don't want somebody who's on the side of the street, and, you know, you know, just one little misstep, one little noise, and they pull out their gun and they shoot you, right? That is, no, that's bad, very bad. You know, if that's what they were talking about with Maniac Cop, then yes, for sure, whatever sentencing he got, you know, they had to do that to him, right? But, you know, it's, if it, you know, his motive, it has to be like, you know, the justice system failed me. I didn't get justice. I'm going to kill everybody in my path, right? And then, you know, if, you know, if my charges or sentencing, you know, gets appealed or, you know, revoked or whatever, then, you know, I'll be like a good guy for a bit, or, you know,
Yeah,
just however they play it
it's
off,
like a
right?
switch immediately when
Right.
they offer that. But what is it? He does choose to spare people though in this movie.
Hmm.
In the first one, he wouldn't spare anyone if he saw them, but in this one, he
Right.
spares the blind guy. He spares
Hmm.
an who is it like? It's like a teenager, isn't it? There's another person that he
Mm.
spares in this movie who he chooses not to kill. But then,
Mm.
what makes them considered innocent over like the woman running
Right.
away from like the robbers or the thugs in the
Right.
first movie? Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's just he has no clear motive or reason for killing. Well, let's say, uh, Mrs. Myers, not Mrs. Myers, Mrs. Voorhees. Mrs. Voorhees in Friday 13th. She has a reason for killing to like prevent the camp from opening. Or
Hmm.
Ghostface. He has a reason for. I'm not gonna spoil that one. Uh, he has a reason for killing, and it's fame. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't see Maniac Cop's reason for killing, except yeah,
Right.
maybe finding corrupt cops. But then again, he doesn't really judge the police officers like on their track record or by their background. He just goes up to them and just kills them right off the bat. He doesn't really judge them. I think he
Right.
just sees everyone as bad. And then what is it? I think they bring back the commissioner, the commissioner who sent him back to jail or sent
Mm.
him into jail. They bring him back as a different actor, even though the original one died. Did you notice
Mm.
that?
Yeah.
The original one died in the first movie, yet they're like, oh, he has to have some reason to go after the cops again. Let's just put this guy in charge. They'll forget about it. I
Mm.
didn't forget about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the ambiguity is a little niche. Have you seen Maniac Cop's actor? What
Yeah,
he
he's
looks
got a
like?
lot of plastic surgery and stuff.
Yeah, it is
His,
insane.
uh, if you look at him when he's older, all that kind of just falls down.
Jeez.
Because he gains weight after it also,
Yeah.
but it's just a lot. Um, what is it? I do want to say I really enjoyed this movie. I think more than the first. I don't know if you'd say the same because I thought you had some. You said you had some problems with it. What were your problems with it?
Hmm. Mainly the reuse of that footage and oh, you know what? I honestly, this one is better than the better than the first one, and that's mainly because the music in the first one, oh man, I hate it. They have bad music cues in the wrong places. They have in the second one, they replayed that scene again. I was sitting there. There was okay, for the first one, there was such an annoying ass song for that same shower scene in the first one. And the second one, I was like, oh god, please don't play that stupid ass music again. And fortunately they didn't. They actually had some actual like they had way better like music there, right? So, and in terms of which one's better, the second one is better. And that's it's very uncommon. Usually the second one, when you release a movie and you have your first one, everybody's like, oh, the sequel's trash, right? Because you it's hard to recreate that same power with the first one. But in Maniac Cop 2, I think they polished up Maniac Cop's like the timeline, the music, they put a lot more effort into it, with those stunt scenes and all the other stuff else. And I'm just like, oh yeah, this is a good movie.
Well, the budget for this one is also 4 times the amount of the first one. First
Oh,
one
is it
was one
really?
million. This one's
And those
four.
people, like those people back then, when they saw Maniac Cop for the first time in the theaters, they're like, dude, this shit this shit goes. And they told all their friends about it in school, and everybody's like, oh fuck, I gotta go see Maniac Cop after fucking school. Or like, dude, yo, I'm skipping school to see Maniac Cop. They got all
Yeah.
that fucking money, man. The fucking studio's like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna polish it a little bit. We're gonna get rid of Bruce Campbell. And fucking, oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah. There was one other thing I really wanted to talk about, and it's that final climax where they
Hmm.
decide to hop on a bus and go as a group to the prison,
Oh
and then
yeah,
they do that. What is it? They offer him immunity to the law if he
yeah.
gives up, or Maniac Cop gives up, and then all the
Hmm.
other criminals are like, "Don't do it! Don't do it! We're fighting
Yeah,
for the
don't take it.
cause."
Mm,
What is their cause?
right.
Plus, all I could think about was, you got Machete, the Machete actor. You got him on that. Let me find it. He's also in Spy Kids. Um, uh, where is his name? Danny Trejo. You got Danny Trejo, and then you also got another actor from a lot of Kevin James comedy movies. Uh, what is it? Here Comes the Boom. He's in that, and I was caught by surprise. When I saw them, especially the second guy, because he just looks super goofy. But he plays in Here Comes the Boom. He plays one of the citizenship test students. His name is Shelley Desai.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just I didn't I didn't think he'd be in this movie because I thought he was a more recent actor, but no, he's been acting for a pretty long time. Um,
Mm.
but I was just caught by surprise when you see those two actors. Of course, Danny Trejo looks like he's more like a criminal than. But then you see this big guy in the back, just in the cell. He doesn't look like a mean guy or like someone who would be in prison. Yet he is in prison, where he was cast in
Yeah.
that part. Um, yeah, I was caught by surprise by him. But what is it? This last scene in the movie, or this climax, also that part where Maniac Cop catches on fire is
Mm-hmm.
like that. That is a really cool scene, but also there's some major flaws in it. Like
Mm.
you can see that the walls are made of foam,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
so when Maniac Cop's picking up people and throwing them at the wall, you can see the wall be like boom, like bend in
Yeah.
really quickly, and they just
Mm.
bounce off. But it's kind of like that's the moment where he kind of gets revenge on the people in prison.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, what is it? Another. I think. Let me check my thing. Uh, yeah. One of the flaws I had with this movie was also line delivery. So like when the actors are speaking and they deliver one line, there are a couple lines that are just really poorly delivered. I don't think it
Yeah.
really works that well for this movie with the darker tone and stuff because it feels almost funny in the sense.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I'm trying to think of a couple lines. It's not as funny as the original one, but it still feels cheap. It
Right. Yeah.
still feels like the writing's pretty bad. But there are a couple lines that are just not. They don't. They'll make a joke and it just doesn't hit well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, look, man, they were sitting there and they were like, oh wait, my camera's like not fucking focusing. Hello, there it goes. Uh, they were saying like, fuck, what the fuck was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I was saying, this is around the time where fucking slasher movies started picking up, and everybody was just like, yo, I want to hop on that and get that money, and that's what they did. They didn't care if the writing was good or not. They were like, get it in there, get our head in the ring.
Yeah. What is it? I think that's all I really had to talk about. Were there any final thoughts for you? I
Um,
definitely like this movie more than the original one.
yeah, stunts in this movie were way more out there, and it was great. Fucking Maniac Cops on fire, fucking the car scene. You can tell that the movie was definitely the budget definitely went up for sure. But besides that, all that, sound design was good. The soundtrack of it was also really good. I was sitting there just like, wow, this, they really stepped up, right? And that's really hard to do with a movie after you kill like a main character, right? Like, and you kill a main really well-known character, Bruce Campbell. You just take him out, and then you introduce a new character. And I was sitting there and just like, when that happened, I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, whatever. Bruce Campbell's got shit to do. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it kind of sucks, but then they're developing another narrative, another story, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I can actually get behind this. It's actually really good. But yeah, all around, this is definitely a step up from Maniac Cop.
Yeah, but the question is, will it get better from here or will it get worse from here? With we got the last film in the franchise next
Yep.
week, which we will be doing is Maniac Cop 3: Badge of Silence. This is they felt like they needed a second title on that one instead of just Maniac Cop 3. They needed Badge
Right.
of Silence.
I like it. I like it. I remember. I
I
remember
don't.
when
I don't.
you don't like it. I I
No.
I like it. They were sitting there like,
It feels
like
cheap. It feels bad.
right. Well, see, they had Halloween 2, and they had Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which nobody talks about that one because Mike Myers is not even in it. But then they had like Halloween 4, and then like Resurrection, Halloween 5 or something, Resurrection, whatever. So they were saying, they're like, oh, they did that, so now we got to do it. I feel like they took quite a bit of inspiration from like the Halloween series. Not in the way that, they're like, oh, serial killer, he's killing his family, whatever, but in the way that, it's just a typical like slasher film, right? So I I don't know, honestly. Personally, I wasn't on the team of, fucking writers, or, I wasn't there for the creation of that movie.
I don't like when they do that because it just feels like it really cheapens a film. I think
Mm.
Nightmare on Elm Street does it with Nightmare on Elm Street. You got the first one and then two, and then you got Dream Warriors.
Yeah, Dream Warriors. Yeah,
So they feel like they got it for the third one. We got to change the title up, or else we're
right,
not going to get people in the seats.
right.
But
We're
uh, then again, every most of these third films we've been talking about have been pretty trash. So
I
we'll
mean,
see
I
if
mean, I'm
Maniac
just,
Cop
I'm
3
just
is
gonna
that way.
say, I'm just gonna say, the directors are looking at this, or whoever the title people are, whoever came up with the title. I'm not gonna say that like Fast and Furious, like all their fucking movies are just like, Fast and Furious One, Fast and Furious Two, and then the most recent one that's like coming out right now called like F9 or whatever the fuck. I'm not saying that those are pretty simple, but it's and tons of people flood in to watch it, but they do. They just want to see fucking fast cars. They want to see Vin Diesel, man. They just want to see that.
Yeah, but they do change the title, I think, in each one. So you got,
Mm,
but they always have Fast or Furious in it.
right,
But they change it from each movie to the next. I
right.
just feel like for horror movies, I don't think it's always the best
Thing to do.
thing to do
Yeah.
that. What
Yeah,
is
I
it?
think I think I think the only thing that I can think of is like Friday the 13th, and just they're like part, or Friday the
Well,
13th.
Scream, Scream,
Right.
Scream
Yeah,
One,
Scream's
Scream Two, Scream
Scream is
Three,
another
Scream
perfect
Four,
example. Right. Yeah.
and I like all the Scream movies, and I like
Yeah,
all the
I
Friday
like the
13
Scream movies
movies.
too.
I think
Yeah.
Halloween, like that third movie, just doesn't hit right.
Yeah. No,
It doesn't
everybody hates the
feel
third
like a
one.
Halloween movie, but
No. Watching it, you're sitting there like, yo, where the fuck is Michael Myers at?
kids with masks. This feels like Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
But so you
But
want to
yeah,
get
that's
into
all I got to say
ratings?
about it.
Do you want
Yeah,
to get
sure.
into ratings?
Mm. You want me to
So
rate it first?
I'll go first because I
Uh,
got mine picked out. I'm gonna say this one's better than last week, and I think last week I rated it as a 7.5, somewhere there. But
yeah, that
this
sounds right.
one's not like 10 times better than the original. No, it's
Yeah.
not that way. So I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm not gonna give it a 9 or an 8.5. I don't think it deserves that, but
Mm.
it's better than the original. And I think the
Um,
story's a lot more planned out than the original
mhm,
one, and it feels more like a horror movie, which
for
is what
sure.
it's categorized as. Not an
Right.
action adventure movie, but
Right. Yeah. For my rating, I can't exactly remember what mine was last time, but if I had to say, I think I probably gave it in like 8 and 8.5, because like slasher movies have a special place in my heart. They're really good. They're,
mm-hmm,
people are trying it out. They're dipping their feet in the water, seeing if it's good or not. And I will say, for back in its time, it was really good, right? It was doing, probably just as good as like, all the other horror movies, that weren't like, like the Halloween, the Friday the 13th. They probably weren't doing good as that, but they were certainly, up there, if, like right below those guys, right? I can't think of another like slasher movie that is like out of the way on the side, like Maniac Cop is, that's like doing good, right? Probably gonna give this one an 8.5. Hopefully my last rating wasn't an 8.5, and if it was, then
I'm
you
trying to
know
remember what
I'll
yours was from last week. I
yeah, I
remember it
can't
being
remember.
pretty high, so I
I
think
It was pretty
8.5 is
high.
higher than what you had. I think it was an 8
Hopefully.
you gave it, and I gave it a 7.5.
Right.
Like a
Yeah.
7,
Nah,
7.5.
I was gonna say, if I gave it an 8.5 last time, drop it down to 8, because this movie is better than that one. It
Yeah,
definitely is more polished, for
yeah.
sure.
It's it doesn't feel as cheap. The first one feels more like an indie film than like
Right.
a big
Exactly.
budget
Hmm.
movie. Uh, Again, let's see how the third one goes. You know how the third one goes, and whether
I
it's
do.
good or not. I do not. I have not seen it yet. I hope it's better than this film. I hope it goes up instead of like this is the best one and then it goes down. But
Mm.
we'll see. That will be next Wednesday. We'll do that instead of Sundays. I think we're gonna push podcasts to Wednesdays because it's easier for our schedule. Plus, I stream pretty much every day of the week or on weekdays except for Wednesday, so we can have a podcast on Wednesday. It's a good hump day special. But we'll be talking about Maniac Cop 3 Badge of Silence. And if you have any recommendations for what you want us to watch after that, if it's a horror movie or anything, we
Mm.
do have one idea, and it's that for the movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn. We kind of
Oh
want to talk about
man.
that because that one
Uh
it's kind of on that Friday 13th slasher vibe, but it
yeah.
doesn't. It's not like all the other ones. But if you have another idea, go ahead, comment down below, tell us, and I think that's where we're gonna end it today. Do you
Yep.
wait? Do we have any recommendations or anything?
You know, if I was also gonna say freaky, but I know I still need to. I said I was gonna suggest it like every time we like do this until it's we're done with Maniac Cop, but the movie with the gosh the lighthouse.
The
Is it called the
Lighthouse
lighthouse?
with
Yeah,
Willem Dafoe and
yeah, mm.
not Pete Davidson. Why am I saying
Yeah,
Pete Davidson? It's Robert Pattinson.
yeah. That one.
That one's a good one. What is it? I had one. I've been watching Hunter x Hunter because Ty recommended it to me. He said he really
Mm,
liked it, so I've been
mm.
watching that recently. I think it's like 2 seasons, but then the first season is like 100 something episodes. It's almost like One Piece in that sense, where it's got one season where it's just 180
Yeah,
episodes, and
right.
it's got
Mhm.
a second season where it's just 20 episodes or something.
Right.
It's
Mm.
just organized that way. But I've liked it. I've enjoyed it. It's an interesting kind of premise, but we'll see how I like it when I finish it.
Mm. If
But
you guys, if any of y'all are watching Hero Academia, season five's out. Go watch it.
I haven't
Season
started
five
season
is
5 yet.
releasing.
I've finished all the other seasons before that. I have yet to start season 5 yet.
Oh
And I finished
yes,
all the seasons for Attack on Titan,
addicted.
on Titan, except for the newest season. I haven't started the newest
Oh,
season.
oh, you're gonna love that one.
But the thing is, for me with anime, I like to like have like the I like to watch the episodes where like all the episodes are out, so I don't have to wait for new ones, and I
Oh
don't
yeah,
have to wait
I
for
completely
anything, so I can just
understand.
watch it all, and then I'm done. No commitment. That's what I
Right.
like. If anyone wants me to watch One Piece and talk about it at any point, let me tell you, that's like running a marathon. That's like running a super big marathon. So that would take forever for me to do. That's why I'm holding off on One Piece for a while,
Yeah, I
because
understand.
that one's long. But at some point, if you want me to watch it and talk about it, at some point I will. It might be in the middle of one of my video game streams, but if you want me to talk about it, I will watch all of them for you and tell you my thoughts and opinions on it. So I think that's where we're gonna end it this week.
Think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Tell us what you want us to review or talk about in the future. Some of your favorite films.
Give us your ratings on this movie down below.
Yeah, tell us if you love it or hate it. I think that's all. Thanks
Yeah,
for
I think
watching.
that's it.
Uh, Bye.